right, welcome back, everybody. It is I, Sean, the American in Krakow, riding his motorcycle. Again, not riding his motorcycle. Weather's kind of crappy outside. It's been raining since yesterday. I don't feel like going out, so what I am going to do is I'm going to balance my Sony ZV-1 on my Crane M2 gimbal, except I'm not going to use the plate that it came with. What I am going to use is this vertical mount plate that I ordered with it. And I just kind of want to point out that when I ordered this, it was advertised as a vertical mount plate. I didn't really dig into the details, I guess. I got to double check. However, it will mount vertical and horizontal, so portrait and landscape, which is interesting because it's way smaller than the factory or the standard base plate that comes with the gimbal, because it's designed for small point and shoots and APS-C or larger body cameras, where this is pretty much designed just for point and shoots because, as you can see, the tracks to adjust them are all small. So there are 3 tracks, unlike the other one, which is only 2. One is for smartphones only. The other 2 are for cameras. Let's go ahead and try to get the Sony ZV-1 balanced on this gimbal. Before we start, just want to make sure all the access points are free and not locked in any position. I did have it balanced earlier with the stock or the original plate that comes with the gimbal, but it's a different size, different weight, so none of those points are, so as you can see, everything is free, everything is moving here. Let's go ahead and try to get this mounted. I am going to say with the plate, the mounting points are labeled 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 are the cameras, 3 is for the phone. I'm going to start with mounting point 1 for the ZV-1, just because I believe it's going to need to be closer to the access point here to offset the screen, because I'm going to have the screen flipped out, obviously. If the screen wasn't flipped out, I might have gone with the one in the middle. So let's go ahead and turn this camera upside down and get it mounted. And that is the wrong way. Yes. No. There we go. Definitely not. That is it. Let's go ahead and get that screwed in. When I put the plate on, even the original plate, I try to line it up with the front of the camera body, just so I have a kind of a straight starting point. So let's go ahead and snug that up. And slide that onto the base. Again, because even on the other mount, I kind of knew I needed the camera really close to this rotation point because of the offset of the weight for the flip out. I'm going to leave it here for now. I'm just going to snug the screw down. Nope, that's loosened. There we go. Just to hold it there. And let me take the screen out. Okay. I didn't want it to hit. And as you can see, now the phone is tilted heavily out towards where the screen is, because now the weight's been pitched that way. I am going to just adjust. So you always start with this axis point when you do your balancing. So you want to get the phone balanced on this horizontal plane. So I'm going to, that's actually pretty good. Or close. think that looks okay. I'm going to snug this red thumb screw down. Not too tight because I may have to adjust it later. And there's a little, there's a small thumb screw that you can use to kind of lock the position, not lock, it's kind of like a marker. You lock it in there so the next time if you need to adjust, you just slide it back to that point and it's where you need to have it for that camera. So I'm just going to lock it in there for now just to keep it from sliding around and throwing the balance off. It's super small, super light, but any small movement could definitely throw this out of proportion, out of whack. And I'm not sure what's going on there. I think the screw is loose. I've got a screw loose. I'm kidding. Oh yeah, that's definitely not going to hold anything. Well, I'll try to get it snug in there for now, and I'll adjust that later. Okay, so the camera is balanced in this position, kind of on that horizontal plane. The next thing we want to do is balance it this way, so it's sitting perfectly perpendicular or perpendicular to the floor on this plane. Now this is where you adjust from the base plate. We're not balancing it just yet for the rotation. We're literally just wanting it to sit on the plate in its balanced position. So I'm going to loosen the thumb screw for the plate. And based on it was kind of tilted up. Well, you know what, before we do that, let me turn it on because, of course, you need to do it with the lens extended. And it's almost there. Now it's a little nose heavy. You can see it kind of, the bottom is kicked out that way. And you probably want it to be a little bit more like this. But in its natural spin state, yeah, look at that. It just wants to go down a little bit. So I will just slide the weight back a little bit on the base plate. Another thing to just point out, because the phone, sorry, I keep calling it a camera, a phone. Wow. Because the camera only mounts to the plate on a single screw, the camera can rotate on the plate. The plate is locked in position, but the camera can rotate, and that'll also throw your balance off. So when you do it, just take a quick look and try to make sure you're keeping the camera squared to the front of the plate or to the back of the plate, whichever side you want to use as your guide. But as I've just adjusted that, you now see it's a little up. So I've gone too far. I'm just going to notch that forward a little bit. And that looks spot on to me. So I'm just going to snug that thumb screw down a little bit more just so it doesn't move. All right. So we are now not balanced, but we are balanced on the base plate. Now we need to work on that rotation. So this way. Right now, we're all the way at the bottom, so we're going to be bottom heavy, and as you can see, the phone or the camera just swings. We want that to obviously be able to balance. So that's where this axis comes in. Make sure that's loose. And let's slide it up. Oh, and my battery saver just kicked in, and I don't know, do I have a good battery in here? Let's take a look. Yeah, that's a fresh battery. Good. So we're going to move this up a little bit and try to get it to a balance point. I think I've gone too far. I feel like the nose is already kicking. Ooh. And then because of this axis, it's sitting, it's a channel, or it's a shaft, and the base, the lower part is channel, and gravity is pulling it this way, so it will bind. So as soon as you, I didn't tighten any thumb screws there, so it's gravity's turning it, twisting it, and it's binding on the channel. But because of that, it's very difficult to sometimes make minute adjustments here. I just want to point that out. Nothing wrong with the design. That's just the way gravity works, right? So I think that's a good spot. Let me just twist this a bit and lock it in. And no, I was still far off. The bottom is still very heavy. A little better. It fell slower. Well, getting there. It still fell, but quite slow. So a little bit more up. Oh, look at that. That's that little thumb screw I'm going to need to tighten up. I don't know how that got loose. But it's so close to perfectly balanced right there. Like as soon as I'm a little off from its resting point, it wants to drop down a little bit. But I think that is it. Oh, wait. No? That little screw is going to irritate me, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. I don't want to lose it. I need a tiny screwdriver to tighten it. I think we're good there. The last thing we need to do, let's just make sure I tightened this access point. Is okay. Now we need to just double check the amount of pitch. I never get these terms right. But basically what you want to do is you want to pick up your gimbal, set it straight, and then lean it about 15 degrees left or right. And it should not do that. It should stay where it is. What that tells me is I need to adjust the last axis. And that's this one here. So sliding it in and out. And now this balances it in that axis, which will allow it to stay more stable. So I'm going to, it seems like there's a little bit of a spring tension at the very end. I'm not going to push it all the way in against the spring. I'll let it sit out just a little bit. And let's tighten that just a bit. This wrist strap keep getting caught in the tripod legs. All right, so we're up. So close. That was the first attempt. Yeah, so I think it needs to go back a little bit more. The camera body, so the weight is still forward of that rotation point. So the camera body is pulling it. I need to bring it back a little bit so it stays balanced. So just a little loosen and a tiny little slide back. Oh, and there goes. See what happens when the camera turns off? Everything goes to that. As soon as that lens pulls in, everything's out of balance. Okay. All right. Lean. Oh, so close. Yeah, it just needs a little bit more. Let me loosen that up and slide that back just a little bit. All right, and yeah, look at that. Nothing. All right, now we'll just go ahead and power it on. I think the battery's charged. Ooh, look at that, guys. It's in pan follow mode by default. So that means I do this, nothing, but I can turn it. I can do this. I can do this. I should even be able to do that. Look at that. That's pan follow. Lock. So locks it in that one position. And let's try, point of view. So point of view takes inputs from your movements and lets it rotate. That's pretty funky. And then there's, let's see, go, which, let's turn that back on. Go, which is the same, essentially, but it lets it react a little bit quicker. What mode am I in? Pan follow. There we go. Lock. Yep, that's staying tracked on you guys. And now let's try go and vortex mode. Now that should allow me to do some really interesting like roll shots like that. That's pretty cool. And to get out of roll, I'm just going to put it back into point, pan and follow, hit the trigger twice. Yeah, this is looking good. And let's just make sure the selfie mode works. 3. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? That's so cool. And back to pan follow. All right, so we've balanced it in horizontal mode. I'm going to do this again, this time in vertical mode. I'll see you guys in a minute. Peace.